Private Sydney developer Top Spring Australia is moving forward with a premium boutique residential development in Sydney's prized Elizabeth Bay. Located on Greennoe Avenue, Munro House builds upon Top Spring's recent growth in both Sydney and Hong Kong. Joining us to explain the project is Sydney Ma, Director and General Manager of Top Spring Australia. Welcome to the Urban Developer.
Thank you, Adam.
Now, let's start with Top Spring. For those that aren't familiar with your organisation, tell us a little bit about Top Spring Australia.
Absolutely. So Top Spring, we established in Hong Kong back in 1993 and has since been publicly listed since 2011. And now Top Spring is really an internationally renowned property group and has development project over 12 global cities today as we speak. Top Spring is a diverse property group, but essentially the bread and butter, it's really in the boutique prestige residential space. So Monroe House is really proudly one of our first attempts in showcasing our ability and capability as a high-end boutique residential developer and in developing quality luxury designer residents with international standards that meets local demand at the same time.
So you acquired the site for about 35 million from a developer that had some planning issues. What's the background to this particular property and how were you introduced to it?
Yeah, so we come across this opportunity for a public EOI campaign back in 2019. So back in the time when we come across the site, it already has a residential development scheme that was prepared by the previous developer. However, the scheme was rejected by City Council at the time. So we've since then, we've really studied carefully about, what kind of feedback the council and the community had provided to us that scheme. And we saw this opportunity that, really allows us to, substantially improve the building efficiency and also create, develop a landmark building that we think would architecturally fit very well within the local area there. Look, when we first come across the site, we immediately recognize how rare of an opportunity it is. We also understand how sophisticated the buyer market is over there in Elizabeth Bay, and we thought this is just the perfect opportunity for us to provide, to deliver a truly unique Top Spring product that really speaks quality and sophistication.
Yeah. So take us back then to the vision and the original vision for it. Obviously, you fell in love with the site and you were looking for an architect and you're looking for an outcome. What was your vision for the project and how did this differ from some of the previous schemes that you had?
Look, we've studied a lot about what the council feedback was on the previous scheme, understand their expectation and really wanting to preserve a unique Art Deco building character that really makes Greennoe Avenue as well as Elizabeth Bay so uniquely special. So we've really spent a lot of time trying to find the perfect architect that understands how to blend this, create a contemporary masterpiece that has all these Art Deco components and detail incorporated. So I think essentially what we've created there is, a building architecture masterpiece that really respects and pay homage to the grand architectural legacy of Elizabeth Bay.
Yep. And you've tapped some of Sydney's premier design consultants. Take us through your design team and the strategy for putting them together.
So I think we, at the Top Spring, we are always proud in the way we approach collaboration. And we always want to collaborate with innovative and really market-renowned consultants and partners. So given how important it is that we feel like we need to create a modern Art Deco building, finding an architect with good track record, as I said before, like PPD, we believe they're very essential in delivering the success of Munro House today. And now, I think what we have as an end result is really a refined and sophisticated architectural piece. And I think PPD's experience in this particular view was essentially in achieving this outcome of obtaining a DA approval within 6 months since launchment. That itself is another successful story. When it comes to the landscape architect, we think that, we really want to create a building that represents an urban oasis in this highly dense populated Elizabeth Bay postcode. So a building that represents a revival of what we call grand garden living, but in a contemporary way, and offer residents multiple breakout spaces which they can leisure, which they can socialize and potentially work from home. We've chosen Taylor Brammers because as our landscape architect, because of their experience and expertise in designing resort living landscape designed apartments. Yeah, and the expertise really help us bring this vision to life by creating 3 distinct communal garden space, creating an urban oasis amongst this vibrancy of Elizabeth Bay. Now, knowing our market has a very strong presence of local downsizer, we think that that landscape design needs to be 100% on point in meeting their demand, because these buyers know exactly what they want. We want to bring a designer on board that really knows how to incorporate all these very highly skilled craftsmanship within the design. And we're very pleased to collaborate with Melbourne-based award-winning designer Lim Design, designing these very beautiful 30 luxury apartments.
Elizabeth Bay has recently achieved record prices, particularly for premium property, along with many other parts of Sydney. Where are you pitching this from a pricing point of view, and what sort of sales rates are you hoping to achieve?
That's a tricky one. So indeed, we've received very high level of interest today, much higher than what we initially expect. So we've been getting very high level interest from local downsizers, as I mentioned earlier. So mainly downsizers that are already living in the local area already and wish to capitalize the intrinsic value that they've already locked in their existing property. So I think this high level of interest really reflects the scarcity of new stocks available to this part of town in Sydney. And we're expecting a lot more further interest to come through in coming weeks. But I think in terms of pricing wise, I think we're at the phase that, we're still taking interest from VIP buyers, and we'll have a much firmer view on what the sales rate will be set at in coming weeks when the project comes to launch to the general public.
Right. Okay. All right. You're keeping your cards close to your chest. What sort of mix do you have through the building in terms of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments? Can you just talk to the mix?
Yeah, sure. So we have total about 30. We have 30 apartments in the development, including 1 penthouse. So out of the 30 apartments, we have 13 3 bedrooms, 11 2 bedrooms, and 5 1 bedrooms. So a really good mixture and very diverse product.
Yeah. And what's your typical size on each of those ranges? And I guess you sort of oversized, you're sort of keeping the price points to a certain, keeping the size to a certain price point. How are you sort of addressing the mix in that respect?
We've studied very closely about the apartment stocks in Elizabeth Bay, and we realized a lot of the buyers are trying to look for something that is a little bit more spacious, that it's really rarely found, especially if we're talking about local downsizers. These buyers really want to look for apartments that are a bit more spacious. So that's what we're trying to design for all that product. I think we've designed products that are slightly a little bit more oversized than what the normal market would have wanted to see. So for 1 bedroom, we start from 57 square meters, 64, comparing to what's available in the local market, and it's actually quite generous. 2 bedroom, we're starting from 83 to 89 square meter in interior area, and 3 bedrooms starting from 120 to 178 square meter. And each of these apartments really have a very spacious and generous balcony space or backyard garden space.
Yeah. Okay. And then in terms of timing, if you've got a builder appointed, when does construction commence?
Look, we're working on it at the moment. We have already got a number of shortlisted builder that are very, have a good reputation in the eastern suburb, particularly delivering high-end boutique projects. And we intended to nominate our builder within the coming months, and we're expecting construction to commence probably by end of the year. And achieve practical completion around mid-2023.
Excellent. Okay. And then what's next for Top Spring? What have you got on the drawing board? Are you making some acquisitions of new projects?
Yeah, look, we are always in search for good projects and desirable locations, just like, very similar to Elizabeth Bay area. And at the moment, we're really spending a lot of focus on our next project, in preparation of our next project, which is a project in St. Leonard's, which will be another flagship development of us. And we expect to bring it to the market probably mid next year. So please keep an eye out for it.
We will. Well, Sydney, thank you very much for joining us. We wish you all the very best with this particular project and more. And we thank you for joining the Urban Developer. Thanks, mate.
Well, thank you very much.